Hi there, everybody. This is Mr. Mayer, and today's video will discuss parallel lines, specifically using coordinates. Your learning target. At the end of the lesson, you want to be able to say, I can analyze coordinates and determine if they create parallel lines. So let's jump right in. We just have one example for this video. What we're going to do is show that the points create parallel lines NW and TM for the following points. And I have those listed here for us, okay? Remember, parallel lines are lines that do not intersect, and more importantly, that they move in the same direction. So to find out what direction points and lines are going to move and create on a graph, what we do is we find the slope. So in order to find the slope, we need to make sure we remember parallel lines move in the same direction, therefore your slopes must be equal to each other. Also very important, your y-intercepts must be different. If they're the same, they fall on top of each other and only create one line. So step one, your slopes must be equal. In order to find your slope, we use, the slope formula. So what we're going to do, your slope formula, this is denoted by the letter M. M stands for slope. To find slope, we use rise over run, but we want to be more specific. Rise over run, rise is the change in your y values, divided by the run, which is the change in the x values. To find change in math in general, we want to see how much numbers differ. To find differ, we use the difference. So we're going to take away y value from y value, x value minus x value. So we want to make sure we remember which one is which. Well, I need to know. Remember, the alphabet helps us here. These are always in alphabetical order. X then y, x then y. So it says we're going to find the slopes of NW, and then after that, we're going to find the slope of TM, okay? So I'm finding the slope of NW right now. So to find the slope of NW, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away my y's. Now, I didn't tell you which order. And the nice thing is, the only part of the order that matters is that whatever you do to the top, you have to do the same thing to the bottom. So let's say I'm going to say that since this is the first point, I'm going to say that this is x1, this is y1. Since this is the second point, I'm going to say that this is x2, and this therefore is y2. I want to make sure I do the same order on the top and bottom. I can start both with 1, I can start both with 2, as long as the order matches in the top and on the bottom. So if I do y2 minus y1, I'm going to do x2 minus x1, okay? If you put them backwards, make sure they're both backwards. So again, like I said, I'm going to do NW first. So I'm going to take my y values away from each other. Again, make sure you write the formula on your paper. So I'm doing y2, take away y1. y2, take away. y1, did I write that correctly? Okay, be careful, guys. It says -4. Does this count for that negative? No, the formula already has a minus sign. So you are in charge of putting minus -4. You're literally going to have those two symbols next to each other. Now that looks a little weird, and we might have a problem thinking, maybe this is only one symbol. So what we use is a parentheses around negatives, especially when we plug them in. Plug in those negatives, or the parentheses around the negative, so you don't forget that it is a negative sign in front of that 4. All right. Next, I'm going to do x2, which was 3. Take away x1, which we see is +1. So I'm good with that one. And you're already noticing, Mr. Mayer, I've got a 2, take away -4, 2 negatives. This is the situation that makes positive. So here I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, 2 plus 4, nice, 6 over 3, take away 1, 2. Last but not least, it's a fraction. We always have to simplify. 6 divided by 2 is going to give us 3. And again, this is n to w's slope. Okay, so this is the slope of NW. I'm getting that it is 3. I'm now going to go ahead and start all over. Again, somewhat of a lengthy process, but now that you've got the hang of it, you can go ahead and speed through this part as I'm working through it if you would like to make sure that you understand it. Hey, so far so good. If these didn't match, guys, I wouldn't have to do this step 2. But so far, these are equal, so I'm on the right track. I like what I'm seeing. I'm going to go ahead and check to make sure that the y-intercepts are different. Now, this is slope-intercept form, but you notice, M. This is literally what we just found here. You've already found your slope. You know that the slope for both of these situations, for both pairs of points, are 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. There are 2 circumstances we have to work out. We want to make sure we find the slope for both of my equations, okay? So I'm going to, therefore, After I find the slope, I want to find the y-intercept for both of my equations. So I'm going to go ahead and start plugging in my numbers. I know that my m for both situations is 3. So I'm plugging in my 3. But Mr. Mayor, this is where I get lost. I don't remember what to do with this step. Well, what's nice is, ladies and gentlemen, you've already got your x's labeled, x's and y's, for both pairs, for both lines. So at this point, you are just going to choose, this is maybe the most important thing that I can help you with right now, choose one point for each line to use. It doesn't matter which one, as long as it's 1 point for each line. So I'm going to choose one from N to W. Let's say I'm going to use the easier one that didn't have any negatives, so maybe it's a little bit easier to plug in. Oh, this is X's number, this is Y's number. So Y's number said was 2. X's number said was 3. Make sure you're putting parentheses, especially when you're plugging in around when there is an invisible multiply sign. And my B, I don't know B. That is our variable. That's what we're trying to find. Okay, so at this point, we are going to work anything out that we can. 3 times 3, 9. Plus B. Go ahead and work it out. Again, this is my barrier. I'm using inverse operations. I'm taking away the 9. Take away the 9. We want that 9 to cancel. 2, take away 9 is -7. This is going to be my B. This is the only thing I have left for the B. So my B here is -7. So you're going to go ahead and let's have you try this. You can pause the video. Let's make sure you've got it. Guys, you want to challenge yourself and make sure that you understand what's happening. Choose a point that you feel like using. Maybe not one's too much easier than the other. And go ahead and plug this into the value. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Step 2, we need to make sure that the y-intercepts are different from each other. This y-intercept is -7. Is this different from this one? It sure is. So let's double check and make sure we understand. Are the slopes equal? 3 and 3 are equal. This criteria was met. Step 2, y-intercepts must be different. -7 is different from 22. Therefore, this criterion is met. Okay? Since both of these situations have been satisfied, the answer is yes. We see that we have parallel lines. Now, it's helpful to do this, but Mr. Mayor, what if the question asked me to write this in slope-intercept form? Well, you already have all the pieces, which is nice. Here's your M. Here is your B. Remember, Y always stays as Y, X always stays as X, and you can therefore plug in your M and your B. This is the equation for the first one. Challenge yourself, double check, make sure you understand what the equation for the second one will be. You could pause it if you want to go ahead and try to work it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video.